Mark chapter 13. Mark chapter 13, where God says in Mark 13, for example, in verse 32, here God really not only emphasized this, but he also set up a testing program as to what do you think about who God is, really, who Christ is. But in Mark 13, he said in verse 32, but of that day and hour, let's back up. In verse 31, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my word shall not pass away. But of that day, when our whole earth is going to be gone, it's going to be destroyed, knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. And this is a particular verse that God has written this way as a test. He didn't have to say the Son, but he put the word Son in there, and the translators helped to make it more of a test by capitalizing the word Son, and in the Greek language, it was not capitalized. The word Son of God is not, the word S there is never capitalized, it's just Son. But anyway, it was a test because immediately, what did all the churches do? This is the big verse that all the churches cling to. Even Christ doesn't know the Son. Immediately revealing the fact they don't understand that Christ is the eternal God. They don't really understand God even in that limited way, that Christ is eternal God, because it says, but the Father does. And yet Christ had said, I and the Father are one. Christ had said, if anyone has seen me, he has seen the Father. And so it absolutely cannot be Christ. It cannot be Christ. It can be Satan as the son of perdition. It can be the church that is called the Son in a couple of places. But it is not Christ. But Christ, very carefully, when he wrote the Bible, remember every word came from the lips of God, put this information this way as a test. And people all over are failing the test right there. But God has indicated that this lack of knowledge would be as long as the church went on. Now, of course, in fairness to the churches, they don't understand that the church age has come to an end. And so we'd have to give them the credit of saying, well, they still believe the church is going to go right till the end, and God has said nobody will know times or seasons as long as the church age exists, or as long as the church exists, and so then they could be accurate that we can't know the day or the hour. And so in fairness to them, even though it's a terrible thing because they are in a situation where they're denying the Bible, only those who understand that the church age has come to an end, and we know that from a lot of other information. It came to an end in 1988, which was the beginning of the Great Tribulation.